I would love to hear just some interesting stories about you talking to your siblings, talking to your friends and family of, hey, I'm thinking about making this documentary and telling this story in this medium. How did that process go?
Well, I don't get resistance. I wonder why. No, my siblings don't mind, like they didn't mind at all, and it's not just that we're hams, because that is in there, right? But I think they're truth tellers in their own ways, and they wanted to help tell Eric's story. So how to make a film, like to do this? This is what I would say. There's nothing that I've experienced that I didn't learn from. So what I would educate young filmmakers is, don't do just certain things, do everything. I've learned from every single job I've ever done, and all the skills I brought to this. Now, for people who might not appreciate this, my version of it, it is my vision of it, my memories. My partner told me that he liked that it wasn't linear. I tell things in distorted ways by fragments. That's how my mind works, that's how my books are. That's the way I choose to do it, that's the way it is.
This documentary has a mixture of stories by friends and family, but it also has some reenactments in the film. I did grow up and go to high school with Tyrone, who was part of the reenactment, which is kind of a fun little story, but would love to hear about your thought process there with it not being just maybe straight documentary, but also a bit of a narrative retelling of certain stories.
Good questions. Okay, so I'm a person who gets curveballs all the time. So the original film was going to be based on an event. As you see, the whole movie is about something that's going to happen and you never see it, but you never think about it, because that's not the point. And when we filmed the event, I wasn't happy with the footage. And I decided to just flip the story. And it's better because of it. And so what happened was I couldn't get Tyler, because he was doing a show, who plays older Eric, and he was going to do the downtown scenes, but I couldn't get him until August. And Tyrone lives next door, and I heard him singing through, I know him for 21 years, and I heard him singing, and I'm going, wait a second. So I knock on his door, and I go, Tyrone, you know that song, do you think you could do it for my documentary? And then I thought, are you available to play Eric Young? And that's how I do it. Like, I take a curveball, and I think of an idea. So you've got to be flexible.
Well, even further to that point, I'm just curious about, you set out, you say, I'm going to make this documentary about my brother. The process and maybe the end goal of what you want that story to be told is going to change and fluctuate every moment of you filming, everyone you interview, every version of the edit, and also kind of every time you show it to a different audience. So curious how maybe there's a specific moment or an interview or talking to someone that changed the end message that you wanted the film to get across.
Well, the editor I ended up with, Tammy Hazel, was fantastic, but I had other ones along the way, and for various reasons it didn't work out. And that also is a great journey, to find the one that's just right, right? And I would say there's nothing that didn't affect the decisions in this film. And Morris, my partner, is my Svengali, and there's nothing that he didn't give an opinion on, and he was just so great. And he doesn't say a lot, but when he finally watched the final edit, he goes, it's good, and that's it. That's all I needed. So I would say that my number one person I went to is my partner. I trusted his opinion.
And as well, just showing it to people, I'd be curious to hear what you think Eric would think of the documentary.
Oh, I know. Not enough about me. And it's fascinating when he read, I sent him the first book in Vancouver, and I said, what'd you think? I loved it, but not enough about me. And do you know that the guy that, the famous guy from London who did the first marijuana thing, do you guys know what his name is? Mark Emery, yeah, okay, so I saw the one-man show when it was fantastic in London years ago, and Mark said about it, it wasn't enough about me, which was fascinating because it was all about him. And I just thought the same thing about Eric. You said you asked what would Eric's reaction be. It is because a person who, like Eric wouldn't believe this if he was alive, because no one ever saw his artwork. No one ever read his writings. He was invisible. And so we're just so joyful that we're able to share our brother that way, right?
I do have more questions, but I'm just curious if anyone in the audience has any specific questions that they'd really love to